I'm proud to be black.
And I'm proud to be Donald Trump. You know, I've been to China. Tremendous place, really. And let me tell you folks, there is a way to spot a bad LED sign. It's so simple. Even Sleepy Joe could do it. If the light burns out fast, cheap LEDs. If the warranty is less than a year, not good at all. Now, if you're smart, and I know my people, you're very smart, you will want to go straight to the source. That's LC sign. They've got CEUL row certifications, very official, very strong. A 3 to 5 year warranty, no tricks, no games, just tremendous value. So don't wait, check the bio, find our WhatsApp number and email, and make your move. Believe me, you'll love it. It's going to be huge.
Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hey, you guys. Welcome back to Sunset Rants. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday night, so already know it's going to be Valley and I. I'm your host, Biddy. Hey, Valley, what's up?
Hey, I am still sorry, I have a little bit of a sore throat there. I am still reacting from our cold open. Like we
That
didn't
guy
know
is
what it
so
was.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, we like didn't know what it was beforehand, and I was like, I love him so much. Like he's gotcha because the company is actually in China, but he has like 3 or 4 accounts that are all over like 1 million, and he
hmm
just his whole thing is to just react to the most woke, most obscene videos and then advertise his signs. And he is making
Yeah.
a killing doing that.
It's brilliant. And I gotta
It's
say, I'm
brilliant.
always jealous of people that can do a good Donald Trump because I suck at it so bad. Like I even have girlfriends that are really good at it. I just suck. But he's like so brilliant. He's found a way to like, do the whole thing where people are content creators and they sell stuff and
Yeah.
like make it into a skit. It's so good. I love when people do that. It's not just like buy this, whatever. It's really good. So yeah, you could find me, of course, Elizabeth213A right there at the bottom of the screen on X. Where can they find you, Valley?
Yeah, so you can find me at the Cali Melody. I go by that Valley Girl on other socials as well. There we go, right down there. And I am going to try to be active on X again. I took a little bit of a hiatus, but things are just getting too hot right now. So I've, been doing my research and looking more into geopolitics. And,
Mhm.
once you go down that rabbit hole, it's kind of hard to climb out of. So I had to give myself a little bit of a break, but now I am
Yeah,
here to go over the news with you guys.
absolutely. All right, so yeah, we got a whole show for you as usual. We're gonna go through the Supreme Court victory for common sense. Why don't you take that away? That's our first article up for bat.
Yeah, so I go by the common sense advocate, so I just thought it was fitting to start things off. So basically, this has to do with gender affirming care for trans youth and the Supreme Court upholding Tennessee's ban in regards to that. So as we dive deeper into the article, it talks about, it is from CNN. It does talk about, today where The Supreme Court upheld Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care for trans minors in a blockbuster ruling that will bolster efforts by conservative state lawmakers to pass and preserve other divisive laws targeting transgender Americans. This was a 6-3 decision by a conservative majority. Shocked, I tell you. In a major blow to the transgender community, and it is advocating at quite a critical time. Because since 2020, Republican led states around the country have passed a waves of laws regulating the lives of trans Americans with a particular focus of minors. President Donald Trump, who ran for re-election in part in ending the transgender lunacy, has taken several steps intended to roll back gains made by that community. Roughly half of the nation's states have bans similar to Tennessee's. Federal courts have disagreed on the constitutionality of those laws. But in the case of Tennessee, filed by the Biden administration, this was the first to reach the high court. The court's majority opinion was penned by Chief Justice, let's see, pull it up on my end. There we go. Perfect. Chief Justice John Roberts, and joined by other 5 members of the conservative wing, the 3 liberals dissented. This case carries with it the weight of fierce scientific and policy debates about the safety, efficacy, and
Propriety of
of the medical treatments in the involving field. Roberts wrote, the voices in debate raise sincere concerns. The implications for all are profound. The Equal Protection Clause does not resolve these disagreements. So moving forward, under the court's ruling, the judge examining bans like Tennessee's and potentially others, let's see, and potentially others will have to go over the laws under the lowest standard of judicial review, meaning they're more likely to be upheld by the courts. So again, this is, in a nutshell, denying gender-affirming care to minors. Now, we have seen a lot of research where the amygdala isn't fully developed until the age 25. And so I say this with caution, even with the same caution as, ADHD medications, psychiatric medications. I think those fall into the same line because if you kind of look at the side effects of gender-affirming care, let's see. I'm just going to pull this up on a whim here just to give you guys kind of a reminder. It basically
like blood clots are huge, cardiovascular risk.
Well, yeah, but it can also compromise fertility. The genital and chest transformations are rarely offered to minors as of right now, according to sites like the Mayo Clinic. But I think if you were going in that direction, I don't think it would be that far of a stretch. I think that, this wasn't a big deal. The argument could be that trans people have always existed. But, there's been such a far increase of transgender youth that I think kids should be kids. And, if you want to be more liberal in the sense that you want your child to identify with how, they want to identify with, free speech, whatever, that's your prerogative if you want to take that liberal approach. But when you are castrating minors or you are giving chemical things that have properties to cause chemical imbalances in children and do irreversible surgeries, then I think that's where the line needs to be drawn because children can't consent. And so because they can't consent, it's going against the non-aggression principles, which libertarians often stand by. So
you got to also think about all of the silenced detransitioners. I mean, that's a huge piece to this puzzle. They've been silenced for quite some time, censored,
and you're seeing a lot
platforms.
more. You are seeing a lot more on TikTok. I know everyone's algorithm is different, but I am seeing some detransitioners, in their late 20s, early 30s.
Who say that the medical industry has failed them.
Correct. Yeah, because, instead of decreasing the risk of you know,
Unaliving potential,
unaliving
yeah.
yourself and
Mhm.
having worsening depression and having those type of thoughts, research has actually shown that there's an increase in those thoughts. Um,
Mhm. And
and
it's so
you know,
crazy, like, because they're always saying, like, follow the science and stuff like that, but
right,
science is meant to be challenged. It's meant to be, resource. It's, ask as many people as possible, weigh the pros and cons, check this thing out, collect data and all of that. But it's become a thing of like, gatekeepers of certain industries where you can't you have these people, mostly government appointed people, and they'll call them, stuff like, these are the trusted voices, these are the people that we've put up because they're the ones that can really give you like science, and that's it. But it shouldn't be like that. We should, if you have people coming out and saying that they were failed by the medical system, like actual people who are detransitioning, and you're censoring them, then that means something. And they'll always
right.
say it's like, oh, because it's going to create this narrative and it's going to scare people and to not becoming their true self and like all this other stuff. And it's just so crazy. It's like you they start out with science and then they go into feelings and then they muddle them all together into one thing.
Yeah, and just to show like how censored this issue really is, like I just did a search on both Bing and Google,
Mhm.
and it's basically I said, what are the cons of receiving gender affirming care for youth? And it says cons of gender affirming care for youth. Some studies question the benefits. Ethical considerations include balancing treatment, benefit, harm minimization, autonomy, and justice. However, these are unfounded. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, it's very politically correct, like everything that I was
yeah,
looking up as well, it
yeah.
doesn't say one way or the other. But we do have a video, if you wanna pull that up, Brian, from, Dr. Nikki Johnson, and this was back in 2024 in December, and she was at the Stop the Harm, protesting, and she spoke out about all of this. So, I think if you skip it, to maybe 1 minute and 17 seconds, um, you could just play it. I mean, like, the whole thing is pretty good. It's like 4 minutes, but yeah. Yeah, right there is perfect.
Mother is to support and advocate for my daughter's healthy development. And my duty as a pediatrician is to help you support your children's healthy development. We are here today because adults, including the pediatricians at the American Academy of Pediatrics, are failing their fiduciary responsibility and have injected falsehoods that are eroding public trust and harming children. In 2018, the doctors in the AAP introduced gender affirming care guidelines for treating gender dysphoria, which include halting puberty with drugs, prescribing sex hormones, and performing irreversible surgeries on children. Not only did those recommendations falsely conflate gender identity with sexual identity, but they also lacked quality supportive evidence. And encouraging children to alter their healthy physiology, disfigure their healthy bodies, and risk long-term side effects, including infertility. The pediatric organization disregarded many ethical principles. Even worse, the AAP reaffirmed its guidelines in 2023. They appeared to pressure the WPATH.
Yeah. Yeah, so so as she's saying, there's been a lot of voices that have been silenced, a lot of doctors, pediatricians who work closely their whole careers with children, understands the importance of children going through puberty in full to, to get their body in gear to go to adulthood. And there's this whole thing that's not based in science. It's just based in feelings where they say, well, if you don't transition them, and you're basically forcing them to go through puberty in the wrong body. So it's like, do you guys want to follow science, or do you want to follow these ideologies and people's feelings about it? And if you actually gave real information to the people as a whole, and we were all kind of saying mostly the same thing of like, you know, you can do this, but you have to wait until you get older because of this, this, and this, and this. You know, I would respect it more, but it's like, you know, you guys are pushing this narrative of putting these kids through such turmoil when they don't even, like you said before, they're not at age of consent. I mean, you can't even get a tattoo, you can't get a piercing, you know, you
can't
can't
go to
even go,
war.
you can't go to work, you can't go on a school trip without having your parents' consent. Like, what is going on? I was talking to some lady today who was pissed that she couldn't get into her 13-year-old child's patient portal anymore. She couldn't see any appointments, and I had to explain it to her, the reasoning behind it. You know, saying like, if God forbid that, like, this is why it's in place, is like, if God forbid you were abusing the child, then you can go in and see that they were seeing a psychiatrist, or, you know. But there's also like other things that happen, you know, like
Like
contraceptives
HIPAA.
at a young age, and so
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, but I still have to take care of her. I still have to bring her to her doctor's appointment. They won't see her without me being there. And I'm like, yeah, well, makes sense, but don't ask me, ask the lawmakers, you know, what they're doing when they do what they do. But
Yeah, I mean, I think that medical providers should be prohibited or penalized for providing um, that type of medical care to minors.
mhm.
Um, it has anything that messes with your hormones, you know,
It's a
if
huge
this is
deal. Yeah.
well, right, and I don't want to pull the psychology card too much, but if you look at atypical antipsychotics or mood stabilizers, they'll have black box warnings because a lot of them will promote, like larger breasts, or it'll mess with like your hormone cycles.
Mhm.
You have to have a black box warning. And those are highly advised to prescribe to anyone who isn't actually like, going through a psychotic episode, such as like bipolar 1, bipolar 2, schizophrenia, but yet hormone blockers,
Mhm.
which that's not just a side effect, that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, because when
Is
they
given like
prescribe that kind of
willy
medication,
willy. Yeah.
yeah, when they prescribe that kind of medication, they will essentially take blood work. They'll go in and they'll see what kind of imbalances, chemical imbalances you have, so that way they can balance it out with these hormones, essentially. I mean, I'm not a doctor or clinical or whatever,
Well,
but they're
they don't
trying
do
to
blood
balance
work.
something.
In
They don't do,
in psychiatry, they don't do blood work. It really
no?
is guess. It really is guess and test, which kind of makes things even worse because
No. Because I know,
there isn't
I
a
mean,
100% way to tell if someone is really experiencing gender dysphoria or not.
well, I know now, like when people are on certain medications for their psychologist, they're being told now to go to their primary care to get like certain blood works and stuff. I guess it's like certain medications too. It might be for other reasons. It might be because like some medications can affect the liver and all that other
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of stuff,
They'll do
and
it
to make sure you're
for
not abusing the medication, taking too much
yeah.
of it and whatnot.
Right. So they'll do it for like levels that are like inside the body. So as an example, they can do it where they can check your glucose moderation. They can check what's affecting, you're right, like the liver, the kidneys,
Mhm.
um, things like that.
Yeah. I
But
mean, like, I'm not a
there really aren't
scientist, but
blood
I would
tests. You would think.
That's what I'm saying. Like, again, I'm not a scientist. I could be just talking out of my backside, but like, I just feel like, what do you just look at a person and say, okay, well, you have some extra hair on your chin. Maybe you're a little high in testosterone, so I'm going to give you some estrogen. Like, wouldn't it be more efficient to try and figure out like actually what the chemical imbalance numbers are and try to balance those out? I mean, my whole point of bringing that up is like, are they doing this for these children that they say are in the wrong bodies? You know, like you're saying, like
Right.
they have their little girls. So you're saying, do they have too much estrogen and you have to give them more testosterone for them to transition, and vice versa? I don't know. It just seems like it's still all up in the air. And there may be things out there that they're doing that I don't know, but I just feel like it's just so subjective. And it's like whatever the doctor that you're seeing at the moment decides, and whatever they read in the medical journals. And then you think about what RFK Jr.'s was doing with the NIH government, doctors. He's trying to push ban government scientists from publishing their works in the popular medical journals, because they're just like these appointed lords over medical industry, and they're just the end all be all, it seems, because the doctors just take it and run with it.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Anyhow.
the ACLU, before we move on, calls this decision devastating and dangerous precedent. Supporters call it a victory for common sense and parental rights. So again, you have activist groups versus what parents think are best for their child.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's another example, again, of, first of all, it should be a state issue. And
Mm-hmm.
second of all, a minor cannot consent.
Right.
So,
and also you have these
it's
people
just a
saying
no-go.
like, if you don't do this, there is a risk that your child might try to unalive themselves. So of course a parent
They're
is going to go
threatening them.
to,
They're
go
threatening them
to a
for
doctor.
profit.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
say, help, I don't know what to do. And then they'll say, well, here's what you do. And you say, okay, well, I'm just trying to love my child. So, you're the doctor. I don't know, and it's just, that's why everything needs to be accurate. And we can't allow the silencing of doctors. I don't care, or scientists, or anybody who's in the know about this. All information should be out there for everybody to see and research, and all should go up against each other. And if whatever comes out in the end, if it's correct after you level everything out, then that's what we're going to go with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, it's profit over people, I think. I think this is just the latest industry to be exploiting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, 10, 15 years from now, people are going to be looking back. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were a lot more charges against some of these medical providers. So,
yeah, I agree. And just before we go to the next segment, I just want to remind everybody that we are on Rumble and we're trying to build the audience over there. So if you guys are inclined, if you have a Rumble account, please go over to ROMA Nation on Rumble, all one word, and watch us from there.
Yeah. I know a lot of people follow us on X. X is great. We're stoked to have the opportunity to, be able to put a face to the name, right? Because you see our posts and then you see our content. So it's like it kind of fits together like a glove. But Rumble is really where a lot of content creators grow. And so we are really trying to grow over there. Definitely appreciate it. Like wherever you want to watch us from, that's your prerogative. But we are on Rumble. So we have the ROMA Nation channel. We have Sunset Rants. And then we specifically have a very lonely Facts and Sass.
Yes. Please go over there, follow.
Like 2 followers or something. So.
Share it. Yeah. Send it in a mass email, whatever you feel is right. Yeah.
Email your company and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like that's spam. But if there's a link that looks legitimate, just click it anyways.
Yeah. Like, do people use Constant Contact anymore? It's old, like dinosaur PR. All right. So, all right. So what do we got next?
Snail mail.
Snail mail. Yeah. I mean, I talk to a lot of the elderly. I swear, I talk to people that are like 99 years old, and they're so with it. Like, I'm not even lying to you. Like 97, 96, they're just like, they know the names of their medicine. They know like the. You talk to like 20-year-olds, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know. It's my mom's insurance." And I'm just like,
okay,
isn't that fun for
stop.
you?
I feel attacked because I have the memory of a goldfish. I feel personally attacked right now. Like those 99-year-olds.
No, I do too. I have terrible.
No,
I know. I do too. But that's why I have Post-its, and that's why I write things down and I'm prepared,
Oh, anyway. That's true. I should have like a journal or something. Because people would be like, people will be like, no, like there's no way you didn't remember this. And I'm like, no, I actually don't. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got to filter things out so we can continue functioning.
It's
Yeah,
still
so
trauma. Okay.
right. So, all right, coming to you from NBC News. It's like basically a follow-up story. Break-in reported at home of
Insane.
slain
Insane.
Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman. Police are investigating a reported overnight break-in at the boarded-up home where Minnesota State Rep Melissa Hortman and her husband were fatally shot over the weekend. Authorities said Wednesday. Today, officers were alerted at 8 a.m. this morning about the break-in at the residence where Hortman and her husband were killed on Saturday in what officials have described as a, quote, politically motivated shooting, according to a statement by the Brooklyn Park Police Department. Investigators had previously processed the home as a crime scene before it was boarded up on Sunday morning with a police trailer camera left in front. Portman's family had, quote, removed items for value from the home on Tuesday, so everything was out that they wanted to keep. And on Wednesday morning, police said that they discovered that the plywood covering the rear window of the home had been pried off and the window broken to gain entry. The home appeared to have been searched by an unknown individual. However, the family has indicated that they don't believe anything is missing, according to police. Vance Bolter, 57, was arrested on Sunday in rural Sibley County after a massive 40-hour manhunt. He's facing state and federal charges. The slayings of Hortman, 55, and her husband, Mark Hortman, and the wounding of Democratic State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, have brought renewed attention to the troubling rise of political violence. A North Dakota man allegedly emailed violent threats to a federal prosecutor and cited the slaying of State Rep Hortman and her husband. Charles Delzett, a 46-year-old from St. Thomas, was arrested and accused of making interstate threats and threats against a federal official. Senator Mike Lee from Utah appeared to make light of the Minnesota shootings with ill-timed jokes. Lee later deleted a Nightmare on Wall Street quip about the murders. Yikes.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
I didn't see that post.
I didn't see that either. And I didn't read all the way down to the article. Yeah. I mean, no, I mean, I mean, I know people like that have dark humor and stuff like that, like to each his own, but I don't dabble in that kind of thing. Is, loss of life is not something to make a joke about.
I mean, look, like, I'm not defending.
Like, I know what they were going for. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not defending Mike Lee, but having a group of friends, like in a group chat, where you're like a nobody and not a political figure, and not talking about,
like, you don't have a huge people following,
from the opposing political side.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like a whole different ball game, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I like, as much as some people are like, okay, that's cool, politicians are on X, like they're relating to us, like blah blah blah. I still think there's a lack of professionalism lately with leaders on both sides, and I think that they need to uphold that, especially in situations like these.
Right. Like, you should be in a de-escalation mode. Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's free speech, like, we're not talking about like censoring people and whatnot, but like, come on, guys. Like, obviously we have an extremely volatile climate right now. Yeah, a time and a place. And like, it would be in everyone's best interest if you guys just like chill a little bit, maybe try not to fan the flames. But it's really, really interesting, like, that's okay. So Representative Melissa Hortman, there was a lot of talk about her voting against or outside of the lockstep with Democrats as far as with, illegals getting benefits.
And she did trans healthcare as well.
And probably, yeah, I don't know that, but I believe you. But so she was kind of like veering off, and she said that she wanted them to pass the budget. The GOP has the mandate, and she just wanted to get this like budget passed, and she was like, she's going to go along with it and not hold things up any longer. And then, then she goes and gets murdered. And then after this, they do the whole crime scene, they check everything out, and then later on somebody breaks into the place. First of all, why don't they have surveillance around the entire place if it's
Right.
like, I know it's not like technically like a crime scene anymore if they've already gotten all their evidence, but it still is, especially if you're keeping everything out. You should have, surveillance around the entire place and be able to see who went in there. But they didn't take anything. And, they did say that it did look like somebody was searching for something. So I'm really interested to learn what exactly they're searching for. If maybe they don't like the children or the family members or anybody don't even know what this person was searching for, because they said that they were looking for things of value, maybe like heirlooms, documents, wills, things like that. They made sure they got out of the home. But like maybe there were other things in that home, I don't know, that whoever this person was looking for. Because, like you could say, okay, was this a robber? They didn't take anything. But of course there wasn't anything of value, but like they didn't take anything like specific. Was this just a bunch of kids playing around or trying to like hang out in an abandoned home, or like a place that didn't have anybody in it and they had easy access? But like, wouldn't it just would it look like people were searching around? I mean, it could. I mean, if it was like a bunch of like snot-nosed kids from around the way and they decided to go in there and chill, or they wanted to go in and see the home, see if they could see anything, and they were like looking around to see if they can find anything, that's also possible. But I wonder if they're going to investigate further and find out what this was.
Yeah, so I just found in a post from Robbie Starbuck, who has a lot of good insight, and he said the assassination of Minnesota State Rep Melissa Hortman was already extremely weird, right? But it just got weirder than it already was. Her house has not been burglarized. Just days after police boarded up, the family says nothing is missing. What the heck is going on? Yeah, so it's like, if when this break-in is reported, is that supposed to be a threat against like the rest of the family? Is it to see if there was anything left behind that perhaps they thought the police hadn't already looked into? It says the home was once again processed by crime scene investigators for evidence. And yeah, it says after the Saturday morning killings, the house was processed by the crime scene investigators and then was boarded up early Sunday, Brooklyn Park Police said. And then on Tuesday is when this break-in happened.
Right.
And so, and then Vance Bolter himself has a very like controversial background as well.
Yeah. And I just think like if it was kids, like they wouldn't like go in there if they see the police thing there. Sorry,
he
go
was
ahead.
associated with Tim Walz, correct?
Yeah, he was appointed by him.
Yeah, so
they keep trying to twist like, oh, that he was like against Biden and he was supportive of Trump or some other things, like all these different narratives being thrown around. But
well, let's see, because I try not to be that biased. So I'm looking at a fact checker from CBS News. It says Vance Bolter, 57, in the Sherbrooke County Jail on Tuesday in Elk River, Minnesota. Blah blah blah. Facing Democratic Minnesota House Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were fatally shot inside their Brooklyn home. We already knew that. They were struck multiple times. Okay, about 6 years ago, Bolter was appointed to the Minnesota Governor's Workforce Development Board by Democratic Governor Tim Walz. So there we go.
Yep. Yeah, no, but I'm saying like, they're trying to say like, oh, he really wasn't a supporter and like all this other kind of stuff. Like I saw a lot of back and forth with people posting and, saying like he was literally appointed by Tim Walz, but they're trying to twist it, and then they'll keep pushing this thing of being politically motivated, but you're trying to push it in a narrative of that he was against her because she was a Democrat. I mean, but it's kind of odd.
Was he a registered Democrat?
That's actually, I don't know. I would have to look it up, but I think I heard something about that. I just don't know exactly. St. Vance Bolter.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
It's a dietitian.
Okay. Oh my gosh. He is reportedly.
Yep. It says
Oh my
his
gosh,
own
that's on my
history.
end. 1 second.
Go ahead. Bolter's political background, despite serving on a board appointed by a Democratic governor, his own political leanings lean conservative. Multiple
Okay, so
sources, including
listen
statements
to
from close
this.
friends. Yeah,
Listen to this.
go ahead.
He is reportedly the CEO of Red Lion Group, based in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Wow.
So he has ties to Congo?
But so, like, okay, Bolter's background is complex. So, what can I just
He
ask a
has an
question?
extensive security background. He has an extensive security background with experience in situations in Africa, North America, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East, including the Gaza Strip. So his security services are all over. And it says he has received security training by members of the U.S. military in private firms. He has a PhD in leadership for the advancement of learning and service from Cardinal Stritch University.
Yeah, he led an evangelical ministry, and his public statements and sermons often reflected conservative Christian values, particularly regarding abortion and LGBTQ rights. So let me just ask, for instance, they're calling it politically motivated right off the bat. They're saying that it's politically motivated. If this guy is leaning conservative and they want to say that, he was conservative, he was a Trump supporter, he was, Republican, and he wanted to go after the Democrats because of the political, the polarization that's going on right now, why attack her right after she goes against the Democrats?
I don't even
If that's the case.
I don't even think there was proof that he was a Trump supporter.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they're trying to say that. They're trying to paint this narrative that he leans more conservative, he leans more, and then the same people are calling it politically motivated.
So they're saying it's politically motivated. Yeah, so I don't think this is enough to go off of, but they're saying it's politically motivated because several AK-style firearms were recovered from the suspect's vehicle, along with a pile of No Kings flyers. So because he had anti-Trump administration protests in his car, apparently that's enough to make it politically motivated.
Yeah, it's something here said from the USA Housing Information. Bolter's own history shows he supported Trump, held conservative views, and was a registered Republican in the past, though more recent state documents list him as having no party preference. He previously registered as a Republican.
But it doesn't make sense. If he had anti-Trump,
that's what I'm saying.
Why would he go for a Democrat? Because she was moderate?
That's what I'm saying. All of it doesn't make any sense. So, like, if you're going to say, like, why would you even say that it's politically motivated when all of this stuff doesn't line up?
I don't know.
That's it. There's
like, I'm not laughing because it's a funny situation.
It's like where do they come up with losing your mind? Yeah.
Where do they come up with like these conclusions?
Right. Exactly. All right. I know we're getting past time here. We should move on to the next thing, but I feel like we can.
Okay.
I know. But yeah, I know we could probably talk about this for 2 hours because this is like nuts. But yeah,
this is what happens when you put two of us together in a room.
I know.
I mean, we're not in the
neither
same
one
room.
of us can put up. Yeah.
Yeah. We both have a beautiful skyline though, which is totally our own skyline.
Yeah, totally. Are you kidding? I totally live in this penthouse. But yeah, take us away to NPR land and over across the pond and what's going on over there.
Oh, is this me?
Yeah. Okay. Segue, queen, take it away.
I don't. Oh no, I think I X'd out of it. I will just read it from the screen here. All right.
Okay.
UK Parliament bans women from being prosecuted. Wait, you're going too fast. Okay.
We got old eyes, okay?
I'm old. Yeah.
Mature. Yeah.
I'm not as sharp as the 99-year-olds you work with.
No, definitely. They can run us all into the table.
I know.
But, all right.
Okay. They ban women from being prosecuted for late term abortions. I'm sorry. I can't speak.
You can't see it. You want me to read it, hon?
No, I can
It's a
read.
little
I
late.
said I
Oh,
can't
okay.
speak now. Yeah, okay. So in
Just move your
London,
mouth and I'll speak. Okay, go ahead.
in London.
Yeah, totally.
All right. All right. Ooh, okay. The biggest reform to British abortion laws in nearly 60 years, members of the parliament have voted to decriminalize some late-term abortions at a time when many of their US counterparts are moving in the other direction to limit the procedure. Very interesting. This
Mhm.
Labour Party has a lot going on. And a landslide vote last Tuesday, lawmakers in the lower house of British Parliament, the House of Commons, endorsed new legislation that bars women in England and Wales from ever being investigated, arrested, prosecuted, or imprisoned for terminating their own pregnancy, no matter what term or trimester they're in. The vote was 379 to 137. So right off the bat, you see, as of right now in London, abortion is allowed up to 24 weeks of pregnancy. I can't do math. Isn't that about like
6 months.
like 6 months? Yeah.
Yeah.
So and beyond that, in certain cases, oh my God, I just tried to X out of that myself. Okay. If the woman's life is in danger, but abortions have to be approved by 2 doctors. Okay. So, it just kind of shows where we're at as a society. In
Yeah.
some ways, not very many, but in some ways, the UK is more conservative than the United States. Like when it comes to the issue of immigration, as an example, we're having, all of these insane No Kings protests all across the US. But for a lot of people who voted for a secure border, they're actually disappointed with the low number of deportations that Trump has carried out in compared to the Labour Party, where they are actually cracking down on immigration. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, you see things like this, where now they are outlawing, any type of
Prosecution of people who
prosecution for in favor of the pro-choice movement, right?
Yeah.
So,
and it's weird too, because like you said, they're more conservative in certain. So England last year, the health service, they stopped prescribing puberty blockers to minors.
Yeah.
So they're kind of going in that direction with that, but
I really think it depends. I think it depends on your definition of. I could go through a whole thing on this. Pro-life versus pro-choice. Is this truly feminist? Is this not? I do think that this is certainly going to upset the pro-life community, although I don't know how large the pro-life community is specifically in London. But I do think, 6 months as a standalone is already extreme enough.
yeah.
I mean, unless it is for, medical purposes, if the woman's life is at risk, right? And if a woman could die giving birth,
Right.
I think that those are situations, and maybe that's what they mean. Maybe that's why they're saying that they do need the opinion from 2 doctors. I don't know, because the article does seem a bit
That's always
vague
kind of been the
in
case.
that sense.
Yeah,
Right.
like that's always been the case. I mean, you're talking about actual medical care now. It's not
Right.
anything to do with the baby, in that regard. It's like if the woman is about to die, or she's about to have like some terrible episode, like medically her body's gonna possibly fail if she keeps the baby, because they can take the baby out and put in an incubator at like a really, really, early time and probably save the child and save the mother, if that's also an option. So, I mean, but this is, I looked it up. It said almost 90% of Britons support abortion being allowed in the UK. However, some pro-life campaign groups have called for mandatory counseling session prior to having the abortion, and 6 in 10 Britons would support this requirement.
I
So
mean,
they feel
you
like
know,
maybe it's good to kind of like think about it for a minute and maybe go through some counseling, see if that's like what you want to do, rather than just kind of, where you see like way too many people out there that are just kind of using it as another form of contraception. Like, I got pregnant, whatever, I'll just go get it, nice and easy. Like, like make it
yeah.
just a little bit more like of something you have to navigate.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is one of those cases where this is very extreme to me. I'm going to pivot a bit. You compare this to the baby boy born in Georgia from the brain dead mother, where,
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh.
Georgia's laws are so extreme that the baby had to be born amid legal questions tied to the state's abortion law. So I think that is hideous as well. I it's such a complicated issue.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't
but
know. I don't know. It's so terrible. It's kind of like I feel like we shouldn't even be having these conversations. Like I feel
no.
like people should just be doing it the right way. Like, you want to have kids, you go ahead
Yeah,
and
but the
start trying to
problem
have
is
kids.
right, but the problem is then you get into what is the right way. And then you have all these conversations of biblically versus, you know, um, a female's autonomy versus
Mhm.
socioeconomic, e- environmental factors. Y- there's so many things that
Yeah. A rebel
don't
with
need to
no
get written.
yell said babies have survived after 20 weeks. I was counting weeks in my last pregnancy since I was at risk. People tell me that they can believe my girls are so big and healthy considering. Yeah, and you know
Yeah,
what else too that I noticed? Like a lot of babies that are born like premature or, super small, they end up like growing up to be like really strong, like they when they get their growth spurt, like a lot of them they just grow extremely, like they get this like crazy growth spurt.
yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah,
the
there's
problem.
so much. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, the problem with something like this, right, where you have, um, if I'm understanding this correctly, this is just you can have an abortion up until birth, correct?
Yeah, let's see. Bans women from being prosecuted for late term abortion. So this is abortion is allowed up to 24 weeks. So that's what they're considering as late term. So it doesn't say anything about going all the way up until birth.
I thought I saw that it did.
Abortion is allowed up to 24 weeks of pregnancy and beyond in certain cases if the woman's life is in danger. So that's probably the part you were thinking about. But abortions have to be approved by 2 doctors, except for those that are terminated at home within 10 weeks.
But I thought
I'm
that's what's
guessing with some
already
kind of like
allowed.
medicine.
I thought that's what was already allowed, right?
Well, I guess they felt like they had to just kind of like laws that are in place. They're kind of like cementing it that women cannot be prosecuted for late term abortion. They're kind of like putting a foundation out there.
I see.
I don't know a ton about it to get into the details, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely you're never going to have anyone who agrees on
No,
that.
I know. I know. I know. All right. What do we got next? We got some news coming out of Florida. Let's see. From the Florida Phoenix, federal judge holds AG James Uthmeyer in contempt of court. For the first time in recent history, a federal judge on Tuesday found Florida's attorney general in contempt of court for referring to the court's order blocking a new state immigration law is illegitimate and unlawful. While U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams' ruling is extraordinary, she spared James Uthmeier from paying hefty fines or spending time in jail. Instead, Williams ordered the state's chief legal officer to submit bi-weekly reports to ensure police don't arrest anyone under an immigration law she blocked in April. Litigants cannot change the plain meaning of words as it suits them, especially when conveying a court's clear and ambiguous order, she wrote. Fidelity to the rule of law can have no other meaning. The order followed a May 29 hearing in Miami where Williams repeatedly locked horns with Jesse Panuccio, the prominent lawyer defending Uthmeier, during arguments about whether to hold him in contempt. At issue in the contempt decision was a letter Uthmeier sent to law enforcement agencies, sheriffs, and police chiefs on April 23rd, stating that he could not stop them from making arrests under SB 4C, a law making it a first-degree misdemeanor for a person to enter the state as an unauthorized alien. If being held in contempt this is what he wrote on X, Uthmeier, if being held in contempt is what it costs to defend the rule of law and stand firmly behind President Trump's agenda on illegal immigration, so be it. Governor Ron DeSantis signed SB 4C on February 13th, but Williams blocked its enforcement temporarily after the Florida Immigrant Coalition, the Farm Worker Association of Florida, and two women lacking permanent legal status brought the suit against the state. Still, law enforcement carried out arrests after Williams barred them from doing so. A Florida Highway Patrol trooper's arrest of Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, a U.S. citizen from Georgia, garnered international attention after it was first reported by the Florida Phoenix. Oh, all right. So we got a lot of different stuff happening. We have some states where the local politicians are trying to stop President Trump's agenda and stop the federal agents and get in the way of these things. But then you have in Florida, of course, where you're going to have more conservative voices, more people that are probably voted for Trump, people that are down with the mass deportation, and they're going to push back. And as they said, they're not going to he's not going to receive any huge fines. He's not going to receive any jail time. She's just kind of putting him on a short leash, making him send her biweekly reports and letting her know, I guess she wants to know every single person that's being apprehended and detained, arrested, anything like that. So, I mean, we know Obama, I think during his time in office, he appointed about 283 judges, district court judges and such. And, Biden was up there as well in the hundreds. So, they knew what they were doing when they were appointing those judges, hundreds before
300.
they left office.
Yeah, 329, including 2 Supreme Court justices.
Mm-hmm. So they know what they're doing. They know.
62 lifetime appointments, of African Americans to serve on the federal bench.
Okay.
And let's see. He appointed.
It says after 6 months, Uthmeier can ask Williams to stop the reporting requirement. But Williams warned there will be additional sanctions if he disobeys her.
Huh.
It's so crazy too. It really is.
All right. So to give you a bigger picture of how many current federal judges were appointed by each president. Let's see. All right. 402 by Reagan.
Whoa.
Yeah. The first Bush. First Bush. Okay. Don't mind me. 197. Clinton, 387. George W. Bush, 340. Obama, 334. Trump, 245. Biden, 241.
And a lot of those appointments for judges were
deal. All of a sudden, it's a massive deal when Trump does it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, well I mean, we're gonna kind of go through all of these. Every time a judge does something, it's gonna be Obama appointed, Trump appointed, Biden appointed. Just so you can, which is crazy because they're supposed to be unbiased. They're
So the
supposed to be
percentage,
judges that just look at the law and interpret what it is. And
right. I mean, the percentage of federal judges appointed by the Democrats is 58% compared to 42% by Republicans. Therefore, all other factors being equal, Democrats are likely to find sympathetic judges who owe them, even without shopping for a particular judge or court.
And this is why, like, when they do those confirmation hearings, they're always asked like certain questions to see why they ruled in this way and why they ruled
Yeah.
in that way, if the law is written like this, and whatever, to try and see if they do have any bias. And then they'll pull up like these like radical like posts from like social media, and then they'll it's like
I
nothing
can't say that
happens.
though.
They get pushed through.
Anytime I hear Florida, I think of that fat Randy.
First Bush killed me.
Yeah, I kind of realized that after.
I don't know what you're
Randy,
talking about.
Randy Fine is not too fine.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is just going to continue on and on and on and on. It's just so obnoxious because like the majority of people are with it. Like even like CNN is constantly posting that like mass deportation, like the approval rating is going up and up. So a lot of people are like, it's not going down. Like even with all the reporting and them trying to show like all these people getting like grabbed up and saying like, children and getting grabbed from school and whatnot. Like it's not deterring people from the support. People are
Trump
like,
literally
we're
put a
gaining
halt
support.
to it. Like let me see.
Oh, for saying like some people can stay if they're.
He has abruptly shifted the focus of its mass deportation campaign, telling immigration and customs enforcement officials to largely pause raids and arrests.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like not even doing these mass deportations. That's why the No Kings events were coordinated, and that's a whole other deep dive. I mean, there's
a lot of talk about the funding. Yeah. That's definitely being highly investigated, I'm sure.
Well, it was
did Anna Paulina subpoena Soros yet? Because I know she's been talking about it.
I don't know, but it was definitely funded by a 501 or 50501c, which is.
Yeah, she just posted about 5 hours ago. She said, honest question, why has Congress never subpoenaed George Soros before? Why am I the first one to bring this up? This should have been done a long time ago.
Because most people in Congress aren't compliant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. It's called the 50501 movement, which is a nonprofit.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes you can't even look at things at face value too, because they're linked, to LLCs or like, these shell companies are like, woven in and hidden to where you can't, you really have to connect the dots. And that's why they should spend time on, because all of this stuff is just going to continue to go on if they don't figure out who the heck is funding all of this. But yeah. All right. So are you ready to talk about why you were having internet disruption earlier over there on the West Coast?
Yeah. So
I'm trying my segue stuff. How am I doing? I'm not as good as you, but okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had too many tabs up, and I had some of the stories closed.
I know I have to click them out as I'm going on, because if not, they're like this small, and I'm like, I try to click on it and I end up Xing out of it. And then I panic.
Colossal solar flares erupts from Earth backing sunspot, sparking strong radio blackouts over the Pacific Ocean. So it like reached me. I saw firsthand.
It gave you a little tan, like a little searing.
Yeah, I mean, I just have a really good like pale filter on.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really see it. But yeah, so it says sunspot region 4114 has fired off its strongest blast yet, an X1.2 class solar flare that erupted on June 17th, triggering radio blackouts across the Pacific Ocean region, including Hawaii. The flare peaked at 5:54 p.m., marking the first X-class flare from this active sunspot region, which has already been responsible for multiple M-class eruptions over the past few days. This is a flare that was not accompanied by a CME, a cloud of solar plasma and magnetic fields that can travel through space and strike the Earth's magnetic field, sparking auroras. Instead, this was a rapid, intense flash of electromagnetic energy strong enough to ionize Earth's upper atmosphere and disrupt radio signals on the sunlit side of the planet. So this caused a shortwave radio blackout.
Yeah.
No, it was funny.
This is literally gray over here.
Yeah, we were doing like our production meeting earlier, and like I had like an internet blackout for like 30 minutes. So
and then when we're going through the audio, we're like, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be nice for like, maybe kind of really push this out to everybody, so make sure everyone knows. But yeah, I was like, so X-class flares approximately 10 to 20 annually during solar maximum. They can M-class flares can occur multiple times a day during peak solar activity. C-class and lower, these are the most common, with hundreds occurring monthly during solar maximum. So that baby is constantly like blowing fire.
Yeah. Crazy. Global warming.
Yeah, global warming.
Change, guys.
Right. What are we gonna do?
What are we gonna
More
do?
money. We gotta give more money to somebody to fix it. I'm sure they'll fix it.
I got solar attacked. I know.
If future flares do launch CMEs toward Earth, they could trigger geomagnetic storms and even auroras. Auroras are what? What is that like? That's not the same thing as like. Oh, is that what it is? Like the lights that you see, or is that something else? Now I can't remember. Aurora's solar storm.
Hey, that's what I found.
Oh, you did?
There are disturbances on the sun that can release large amounts of solar material into space.
Yeah, it's like those things that you see, that people see like in Iceland. Northern Lights. Yeah, exactly. That's the words I was like trying to think of. I was like, I know it's not called that, but I think it's the same thing.
Oh my gosh, no. It literally says the recent storm activity could be seen visible as far south as mid latitude. My God, I can't talk. I
don't know where you are, so I can't even save you. So I'll be here supporting you.
It's okay.
I'm here. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Texas, Alabama, and California.
Okay. So you guys got to watch it. I really want to see the Northern Lights in person one day.
Yeah.
Did they say, like, was there a time like, was it earlier this year or late last year where people were able to see it from Texas? And like the Northern Lights, like, or from certain areas where they were able to see it? I feel like at one point I was like jealous that somebody in our country was able to see it and I couldn't. So
yeah, I feel like I look blurry all of a sudden. Wait.
Okay,
yeah, I'm in focus now. I think I was like out of focus.
Oh no, the solar flares are starting again.
Oh no.
Well, no, I can see out the window behind you, so you look fine. Okay. All right. So guys, the sun is flaring, so just be careful, okay? And NASA's gonna watch it. Elon has been freed up now, so maybe he'll check it out. Bezos, I'm sure he's gonna get in on that. So you know, we're okay. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Why don't we get to caption this? Are you ready?
Sounds good. You are good with the segues.
I wanted you to be proud of me today. I'm trying. Don't expect it every time because I suck.
I'm out of a job.
No. You will always be the segue queen.
Always be the segue.
You gotta get out of NYC video. I know. Tell me about it. you can see them down to North Carolina, but the only way was if you took a picture of you with your phone. It was during that April eclipse. Okay. I'll go talk to the sun. It needs a pep talk. Great. Great. You do that. Thank you so much, Kara. Yeah, so you guys know we got solar flares.
It's straight up cut off Biddy.
I know, it's okay. I'm laughing so much. This is what happens when I laugh a lot or I get like stuff is really funny. My glasses fog up.
Yeah, well, I'm wearing
I
these,
can't
which I
see.
never wear, but they're like they're like pushing against my glasses too much. I need to get my mic fixed.
Oh, but they look cute though.
Yeah.
Kind of like we're twinning today. All right, so we got an AI generated photo here. Make of this photo what you will, and that's what we're asking you to do. This is called Caption This. We're asking you guys, the audience, to please chime in and give us your funniest captions. The funnier the better, and then Valley and I will vote on the funniest at the end. So yeah, let's see. He said Alquita.
What?
Mulgara said Alquita.
I don't know. I don't even think I want to comment on this one.
Oh wait. Wait, I'm just gonna like get that one started. I don't know. Doug, we'll be okay, I promise you.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. It was pretty scary not having internet, but I'm here.
No, you are.
I made it.
You got through it. Yeah, you got through it like a champ. Yeah. I'm so proud of you.
I might have some PTSD, but
okay. We'll work through it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you got to come out and visit me. You'll be in the gray the whole time you're here, and you'll feel better.
That's wonderful.
Peek-a-boom.
Wow. Wow.
It's so funny because Mulgaro puts, I don't think I want to say much more because I know it'll be perfectly offensive. Yeah, peek-a-boom. And then he puts that. That's very funny. I like it. All right, come on, guys. Where you at? Give us some captions. Otherwise, Mulgara's got it. When you pause your prayer to ask God if he accidentally hit the apocalypse button twice. You said 2025 would be my year. I didn't think you meant final year. Oof.
You know what? I think that's like the only appropriate answer.
Oh, my bad, Doug. That was his caption. I thought he was yelling at me. I was like, wow, he's cursing at me and everything. You were joking about solar flares. That's his caption. I guess like the dude hiding there. Wondering why we were joking about it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think I like Vash's.
Which one?
Oh,
I can't see it. Hold on. Where am I?
Put it back up. No.
Oh, okay. I'm like, where am I? Okay. Can you put which one?
Wait, would it be? Is that Vash? It's like my little thing is. My thing's over it. Yeah, that is Vash. When you said 2025 would be my year, I didn't think you meant final year. I think I like that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tried to make a peace treaty, ended up starring in Call of Duty Cleric Ops. At least my head is covered. Oh, jeez. Damn, I liked Peek-a-Boom. I thought that was funny. Alquita was good too. Tough crowd. um. Okay. You know what? I know it's crazy because now we're gonna need a vote, but I liked Alquita because that one made me laugh. I thought that was really good.
I'm still gonna do Vashes.
Okay. And I know Brian liked Peekaboom. He came in and told us. So he likes that one.
Alquita. That's my.
Alquita, okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Mulgara wins then.
All right, yeah, I like that because remember, you guys, like this stuff, like we're working on putting them on T-shirts, like when we have like, you know, like the big winners out of all of the winners. So like, I really like the idea of like that picture, and then it says Alquita. I think that'll have people dying. Yeah. All right, so congratulations, Mulgara. You win. Caption this for tonight. Awesome job, everybody. Love all the submissions as always. Any final thoughts, Valley? This guy.
I don't really.
We say so much like during, like we don't really. We're pretty much like we're spent
like
by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty much.
No, it's just it's hump day. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Absolutely.
Or rest of your week, closer to the weekend.
Yeah. We're on our way. We're over the hump. I hope you guys, anybody who hump day. If you guys had to work today, I hope you had a smooth day. If you have to work tomorrow, I hope you have a nice, easy day tomorrow. And don't forget, we got Tay&D tomorrow night, as always, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place, same time. Promote our Rumble if you can. Share the show with your friends. Love you all. I hope you have a great night. I'm Viddy. This is Valley. Later.
Bye.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.